Hello, everyone, everywhere. Pastor Bob Thibodeau here. Welcome to the Tuesday edition of the Faith-Based Business Podcast. We're so blessed you're joining us today. Finding the right podcast to appear on is absolutely crucial for maximizing the impact of your podcast interviews. So today I'm going to go over some strategies to help you identify podcasts that will align with your brand. And by finding the right podcast for your brand, you'll increase your brand awareness. Amen? First is to define your target audience. Before you start searching for podcasts to do interviews with, it's important to have a clear understanding of your target audience. Who are they? What are their interests? What podcasts do they listen to? By knowing your audience, you'll be able to identify podcasts that cater to these specific needs and preferences. And once you've defined your target audience, you need to conduct thorough research to find podcasts that cover topics related to your brand. Look for podcasts that have a substantial and engaged audience with your brand, as well as hosts who are knowledgeable and respected in your industry. Take note of these podcasts that feature guests with expertise similar to yours and write them down so you can get in touch with them. Then, look at some podcast directories. There's several different podcast directories and platforms that can help you discover podcasts in your niche. Websites like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts all allow you to search for podcasts by category and keywords, or even by the name of the host or a guest. Take advantage of these platforms to find podcasts that align with your brand. And then don't forget about social media. You need to learn how to leverage social media and online communities as it comes to doing a search for programs to be interviewed on. Social media platforms like Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn, these are all great resources for finding podcasts, connecting with the hosts offline, strike up a conversation and create a relationship with them, and then pitch them about being on the podcast. Join relevant online communities and groups related to your industry. Engage with members who are podcast hosts or guests. By networking and building relationships within these communities, you may discover podcasting opportunities right there. Sometimes it'll branch off into different things like affiliate marketing or doing a joint venture, joint teaching programs, something like that. Okay, but reach out and collaborate with podcast hosts, because once you have identified the podcasts that are a good fit for your brand, it's time to reach out and ask to be a guest on their program. Or if you have a podcast, ask them to be a guest on your podcast. Craft a personalized pitch, not a generic cut and paste thing. A personalized pitch that highlights your expertise, the value you'll be able to provide to their specific audience, and why you would be a great guest for their show. Be sure to mention any unique angles or topics that you can discuss that would resonate with their listeners. Finding the right podcast involves defining your target audience, conducting the research, utilizing podcast directories and platforms, leveraging the social media and online communities, and then actually reaching out to podcast hosts with a compelling pitch. By carefully selecting podcasts that align with your brand, you will ensure that your podcast interviews have a significant impact on your target audience, which will increase your bottom line as well. Amen? Till next time, this is Pastor Bob reminding you to be blessed in all that you do.